We have come a long way in the fishing industry. We are now using what look like medical devices to enhance our lures. What's going on, y'all? It's Matt Niak, and I was just recently on a trip in Jacksonville fishing some really dirty, stained, turned up muddy water. Just tough water to see in, low visibility, and I was struggling to find some fish, so I was actually in a position in tournament time, and I felt like I needed some extra juice, so I turned to Rattles. And I was actually able to use this rattle-snaker tool to put the battle rattles inside of my soft plastics. I want to share with you guys how I was able to do that and a few tricks I found to actually make that process a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and jump to the table.
All right, so we have our rattle-snaker tool here, and as you guys can see, this is what it looks like. And what's pretty cool and convenient about this is it has this chamber here in the back end where you can keep your rattles at. So that's pretty convenient, but we're going to use 3 so I can show you guys how it would look in each one of these different styles of baits. Now keep in mind there's a lot of different baits out there, a lot of different styles, but just give you guys a real quick example of how I would put it in each one of these 3 different styles. Now these are the Elastec plastic from Z-Man, both the kicker crab and the diesel minnow, but this is the mulligan paddle tail in Alabama leprechaun color from Fish Strong that we have in our tackle shop. Being that these are different styles of plastic, I wanted to share with you guys that they would be similar in ways that you would put them in. But let's go ahead and jump in with just the kicker crab, as that was what I was able to use most recently. Now one thing I've noticed is that if you're putting these rattles inside of the baits, I've seen people do instructionals on where they're actually pulling this piece off first and inserting this piece by itself into the bait. But I've actually found that if you do that, what you're doing is creating a core inside that bait, because this is in fact hollow. It's best if you keep that bar on the inside when you're actually putting this needle point inside the bait. Now I've found that if at all possible, it tends to get the most action out of the rattle when you tend to put it in the back end. So the further back you can put the rattle, I think the best chances you'll have getting the performance from that rattle. Now I don't have any scientific fact or testing to prove that, but I guess it kind of boils down to being able to put the rattle wherever you have room to. So just to start, kind of show you guys, the hook will go here in this slot right here. So I want to steer clear of this area right here, both in the belly as well as right there. But this side area right here provides a lot of good real estate for this to be able to go in. So that's where we're going to put it. We're going to start right there, just a little behind the halfway point on the crab. And I'm going to insert that needle point in. And as I push it, I'll feel it start to go in. Now, once it's in, I don't want to push it too far out the back or out the underside there. I want to kind of hold it right there. So what I'll do is I'll keep my finger, hold pressure on that crab while I pull that out. But you can see it's still inside of the kicker crab there. Once I have that out, that's when I'll go ahead and take my rattle there and drop it down on the inside. There's a little chute there that it'll go through. Make sure it's in there. You don't want to accidentally jam that battle rattle in there to where it breaks. But once it's going straight down that chute, you can go ahead and push in there on the plunger, if you will. But kind of keep your thumb right there to help support that as it pushes in to the bait. And once you kind of pull that back down on, push your thumb down there and pull that bait off. And once you pull that bait off, you'll see your rattle has been left inside there. And if you stretch the bait out a couple times, usually you'll be able to see that that entry point that you had where you put it in is hard to even see now, but you do in fact have an active rattle in there. So that's one way to do that. That's for the kicker crab there. I found that to work for me in Jacksonville. But just to show you guys how we would do this for other baits as well. This is the diesel minnow, as I said already, but same concept. You want to try and put it further in the back near the tail is where I've found I like to put it, but we'll just go ahead and show you guys how to do that now. So here we're going to come to the underside of the bait. You'll see that there's a bit of a belly slot here. What I like to do is come in right there before that ends and find me a good chunk right there. So what I'm going to want to do is try and put it in that much of that paddle tail right there. So I'm going to want to make sure I'm going in just in front of the spot that I actually want the rattle to be at. Trying to make sure that I push that needle point in evenly so it doesn't break through the sides or out the top or anything. Once I got that needle point in there inside the bait, I'll do the same thing. I'll kind of pull that back plunger off. I'll go ahead and grab my rattle, drop it down inside of there, making sure that it goes straight down inside that chute there. Once it's in, I'll go ahead and push my plunger in, being sure to kind of pinch right there. You can actually see that rattle slowly go inside the bait. Once that's snapped there, I'll pinch the bait to make sure that that rattle stays put, sliding out that needle point there, and you'll see that the rattle is there inside, left behind, and that hole is now closed up. So this bait right here, ready to fish with a rattle. Now that's pretty simple with both of those, but simple process here as well with these plastisol baits. We're gonna do essentially the same process. You have a belly slot here, and we're gonna just put that in right there behind the belly slot. Now keep in mind your hook will be coming somewhere through the body around in here, and you don't want that hook point to interfere with that rattle. So keeping that in mind, we're going to place that rattle out of the way of that hook when it will come through the bait. So taking our bait and keeping in mind that that hook point could come somewhere through here, we know we're safe to go in where that hook point would come through at, but we want to make sure we're aligned going straight down the back towards that tail so that we're not, going to be coming out the side or damaging any of the sides of the bait there. But pushing that in, we have buried that needle point successfully inside the bait there. So we're going to go ahead and remove our cap, grab our rattle, drop it down inside the chute there. Go ahead and grab our plunger, plunge it on in. We're going to do the same process here. Push that battle rattle inside, and as it starts to go in, we're going to hold our thumb there to make sure that it stays in place while we slide out our rattlesnaker tool. And as you guys can see there, we do have a now rattle inserted bait there with that mulligan. Now that's ready to fish, and that hook point is not going to interfere as that rattle is back here in the back end of the tail section. Your hook point should come out in here. Just to give you guys an example, you could see that if I were to put that hook on there, I would be nowhere near where that rattle is back here near the back. So I'm safe for rigging, and it's ready to fish. Now, just one more thing. If you do have smaller baits like 3-inch profiles or something smaller like that, and you don't have enough room to put it in the back end where that hook would be, it's okay to move it further up into the body portion of the bait. That wouldn't harm it at all. I just feel like you may get more sound from that rattle where it's at the back where that bait may have more action.
Now, to be completely honest, whether or not these rattles or the tool are necessary to absolutely catch fish, there's a lot of testing that could be done on that, and I'm sure rattles may have more influence in the area that you fish and the conditions in which you're faced with. So rattles may not be the best thing to turn to at all times, so it may be up to you to do some on-the-water testing in your own area to see if this works for you. Again, this demonstration was just to show you guys how to put those rattles inside, as well as a few tricks to make it a little bit easier. If you guys have used this, be sure to let me know, and whether or not you've had any success with using these. I think they're pretty cool, and they do make putting those rattles inside of your baits a bit easier. So if you guys have tried these, or if you haven't and you think they would or would not be good in your area, let me know why down in the comments. We do have these available in the tackle shop, so if you guys are interested, you can always find them at fishstrong.com. Now keep in mind, the footage that I've shown you guys in this video is actually from one of the insider reports that we share with our members. So if you guys are interested in some more exclusive information that only our members get, make sure you check us out in the Insider Club at saltstrong.com. Otherwise, we hope to see you in the next video soon.